basically because, you know, the camera's a little distance away, and I want things to be heard loud and clear. You know, so yeah, never a dull moment when I'm protesting Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse, cover-up and denial, etc., which includes bringing bullshit complaints to the SPVM police force to try to get me arrested or ticketed, to shut down my protest and so on and so forth. This was low-end stuff, and they were super nice about it. They basically were not intimidating, you know, just politely asked me this and that. And like I said, you know, they just said, please don't do this or that. And for most of it, I don't. You know, I admitted yelling. I said, yes, I did yell, and here's why, and explained it to them. And I did say to them, like, excuse me, this is a peaceful public protest. Yelling can be and is a part of a peaceful public protest. So, like, let's not enforce that bylaw today about this. And they didn't. I think they did the right thing. They made an exception. And yes, I can understand where you know, you've got a very noisy neighbor playing a stereo loud at 3 in the morning. Well, yeah, that bylaw should apply. But when it comes to peaceful public protest, it should be possible to make a lot of noise. And like I said, police officers, firemen, and even Unitarian Universalists, when they're protesting, make a lot of noise. I've seen Unitarian Universalist ministers insulting police officers during peaceful public protests. What's his name? Brian Kopke of the Ottawa Unitarian Church. I'm not sure if he's not there anymore. I think he retired or whatever. Who knows? You know, maybe he resigned because he was found guilty of clergy sexual misconduct that nobody really knows about. I'm just speculating here, but what happens when Unitarian Universalist ministers are found, you know, by the Unitarian Universalist Association to have engaged in sexual misconduct, you know, they often just quietly resign or, in quotation marks, retire. So anyway, I think we're pretty well done here. Enjoyed my chat with the police today. They were not perfect, but within the context of everything, they were very good. And when they're very good, I say so. So I think they behaved appropriately, and we're going to start packing stuff up here and head off. Who knows, I suspect some of them are going to be curious now. Maybe they're going to go look at some YouTube videos. You know, this guy had obviously seen something. He'd seen the police. He probably saw the video of me asking questions at city council meetings, because some of that was posted in the news reports. Oh, I actually totally forgot a couple of things to mention. Oh yeah, we still got some time here. Okay, I think maybe I should mention them, because I literally forgot a few things. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to keep this going a little bit. Let's just see what's going on here. Guy coming out with his phone. So anyhow, maybe he's calling the police again or something, trying to get rid of me. Maybe not too. Could just be a personal, private phone call. I was on the point of leaving, but I do have to mention one or two things that I have not yet mentioned, and then we'll be done. So let's see here. There we go. So here we go. I got to get my picket sign. So here we are. These picket signs say Unitarian Universalist misuse blasphemy law 2, cover up and deny pedophilia rape. In the past, I have been criticized by Montreal Unitarians for saying Unitarian mothers cover up child abuse in chalk slogans during my protest on Mother's Day. I have Mother's Day protests, some protests that took place on Mother's Day. And so I sort of had a Mother's Day themed protest in which I spoke about the fact that unfortunately Unitarian Universalist women, and more particularly some Unitarian Universalist mothers, such as Sue Montgomery for instance, participate in the cover-up of abuse of children by Unitarian Universalist ministers and Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers, to say nothing of Unitarian Universalist lay people. And like I said, some Montreal Unitarians were not happy about that, and I was told this by Juan Vera. They were very displeased by that slogan. Well, unfortunately, it's 100% true, and supported by evidence. I can back it up totally. But it's Father's Day today. I haven't even mentioned Father's Day. It's Father's Day today, and I would like to mention that, well, guess what? There are actually some Unitarian Universalist fathers who do that too. You know, UUA President Reverend Dr. Peter Morales is married. He has a wife. I assume he has some children. He's a father, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong because I don't know absolutely certainly if he has children, but I'm pretty sure he does. It was actually during the administration of Reverend Dr. Peter Morales that the Unitarian Universalist Association thought it'd be a really good idea to falsely accuse me of violating Canada's blasphemy law in legal bullying that sought to intimidate me into removing blog posts that tell the readily verifiable truth about what the Unitarian Universalist Association's Canadian attorney calls such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. Outrageous misuse of Canada's criminal justice system. It never went further than a cease and desist demand letter. They never made a police report or had to be arrested and charged. They couldn't because it was total bullshit, and I totally humiliated the lawyer and the top-level Unitarian Universalist religious leaders who had actually conspired together to do this. Yes, this is a true conspiracy theory. Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein conspired with Reverend Dr. Peter Morales and the Executive Vice President. Oh, let's put the accent on that. Executive Vice President Kathleen K. Montgomery, who's responsible for organizing the and coordinating the work of the Unitarian Universalist Association's attorneys, who may be a mother. I don't know if Kathleen K. Montgomery's a mother or not, but she's certainly a woman. I know that Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein, to the best of my knowledge, is not a mother. She's a very unhappy spinster from what I can gather. But nonetheless, she's a woman. So there's at least two women involved in this attempt to intimidate me into removing blog posts that tell the truth about pedophilia and rape committed by Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell and Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein's First Parish Norwell parishioner, Richard Buell. He was not a minister, but he did rape children. And yes, we still got a little bit of time left here. So this is my Father's Day element to this protest, protesting against Unitarian Universalist fathers who are involved in Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse cover-up and denial. Not to mention the Unitarian Universalist fathers who are Unitarian Universalist ministers who are guilty of various forms of clergy sexual misconduct. There's no question that some male Unitarian Universalist ministers are guilty of various forms of clergy sexual misconduct, possibly including rape and pedophilia. They may or may not have been fathers, but they were certainly male. And I do know that Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell was certainly married. Don't know if he had children or not, but I do know that he more or less adopted, shall we say, or brought under his wing teenage Tibetan refugees who he proceeded to use as sex slaves for years before they finally had him charged, tried, and convicted with rape. Anyway, so that's that. And also the purple here, purple hat, purple shirt. It was Purple Friday, also known as Purple Sunday, a couple of days ago. This is a anti-child abuse campaign by David Lean in England, a victim of child sex abuse by a soccer coach. Some years ago, he started what he calls, it started off as Purple Friday, then it went to being Purple Summer, Purple Christmas, and essentially what it is on that day you wear purple to speak out against and be in solidarity with victims of child sex abuse. So I'm wearing purple today as a little extension of Purple Friday, Purple Summer. Call it Purple Sunday. Call it Purple Sunday. Or maybe even Purple Solstice. We're getting towards the summer solstice. So in relation, you know, to the issues, let's see how our camera's doing. Yeah, just a few minutes left. I was afraid we might have run out of recording time there. So anyway, David Lean, congratulations for your Purple Friday, Purple Summer campaign. Keep it up. And I will say that most ironically, on Purple Friday, Purple Summer, just a couple of days ago, Montreal Unitarian Clergy Abuse Cover-Up Enabler Sue Montgomery actually had the unmitigated gall to tweet out on her Twitter account that there's no abuse at the Unitarian Church. That's insane. Even if she's talking only about the local Unitarian Church of Montreal, there's definitely abuse. Maybe not sexual abuse, although I'm sure there is some here and there, but there's definitely abuse of various kinds. Verbal abuse, psychological abuse, emotional abuse, and I'm sure some children of Montreal Unitarians are abused in various ways. In fact, I have reasonable grounds to believe that Reverend Ray Drennan abused his adopted daughters, Frances and, trying to remember the other one's name. Anyway, there's some evidence that Reverend Ray Drennan at least verbally and psychologically abused his adopted daughters. How are we doing here? Oh, he is a father, by the way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we're wrapping up this Father's Day themed Purple Summer, Purple Friday, Purple Sunday themed protest. We're pretty well done here. But yes, Reverend Ray Drennan, the minister who verbally and psychologically abused me, slandered me, libeled me, and so on and so forth. He almost certainly is guilty of, at minimum, verbal and psychological, emotional abuse of children who he adopted. He's totally estranged from his second daughter, whose name escapes me, starts with a C. You know, something like, I'm not gonna get it wrong. Anyway, Francis with the other one. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Reverend Ray Drennan, abusive Unitarian father. Not to mention Richard Buell, who raped not only a neighbor's daughter, but a female family member who apparently would have been a granddaughter, although there is